And then he said, you know, I really feel bad about what's getting ready to happen. I really do. He said, the governor does not deserve this. He is a good man. I've never seen him take anything personally. And he gave and he gave and he gave, and he was the best governor we ever had. And I said, Nick, what are you going to do if the lawyers ask you that under oath? And this is what happened. You know, we were engaged in a conversation, and all of a sudden he just gazed off over my shoulder, and his eyes just stared straight ahead. And he said, he just went into the speech, and he said, it was a pay for play, it was a pay for play, that's us. Money in exchange for favors. And he went into this long speech without looking me in the eye, and my mouth dropped open because it was absolutely just opposite of what he just said. So I let him finish, and I said, Nick, you sound like a robot, like you have this thing memorized. And this is what he said to me. He said, you would have it memorized too if you've heard the answers as many times as I've heard the answers. And I knew then things were going to be very rough in that courtroom.
What we're going to do is just keep trying to get the truth to this jury. You know, we take the witnesses where we find them. These are their guys, you know, and they're coming in and they're telling what they did, and we're happy that the truth's getting out.
Politics in Alabama is certainly a blood sport.
What you have to understand about the politics of Montgomery, Alabama is this, that, you know, the old saying that a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. That's absolutely true. And if the federal government gets after you, particularly in Montgomery, Alabama, then you have a real problem. I don't care how innocent you are.
There's no question in my mind, because of the people who were involved in the investigation, the fact that it was my political opponent's wife, who was the U.S. attorney, that started this investigation, because it was her office that indicted me and convicted me, there is no doubt in my mind that the criminal justice system in 2006 was used to shape the governor's race in Alabama.
Friday wrapped up week 5 of testimony, and the prosecution has not rested its case. Today, defense attorneys predict when they'll be allowed to take over.
I imagine the governor will let us begin the day after the primary.
You think that's calculated?
I do think it's calculated.
The government used every tactic you could think of legally to make sure this trial lasted throughout the primary race. I mean, they would call witnesses. One guy they called from Birmingham, and I still can't find anybody to tell me the purpose of this guy. He drove all the way down from Birmingham to Montgomery, sat on the stand. They literally asked this guy what his name was, did he work at a certain bank, who was the president of the bank, and told him to have a nice day.
You know, they were figuring on what can we do to bring this guy down, or to do some damage so that he is wounded, at least wounded, going into the 2006 governor's race. I don't think they had any thought about getting a conviction.
The money that can be made out of the governmental system is so great that people are willing to do anything to get control of the power.
It's important in our country that the prosecutors and the law enforcers of our country do their job, or our freedom is meaningless. However, if a prosecutor becomes more inclined towards winning a prosecution than in seeking justice, it can do great damage to the cause of freedom and liberty.
The attitude of the prosecutors, particularly the lead prosecutor, the acting United States attorney, whom I found to be condescending, arrogant, and out of line, not only outside the courtroom, but inside the courtroom. And not one damn thing happened to him because of what I consider his professional misconduct on many times and many occasions. And yet he's there, and we have to live with him. And he is going to be a powerful force to be reckoned with. I fear for my state, I fear for my country, and I fear for myself and all the other lawyers personally that represented Richard Scrushy and Don Siegelman, because I'm not sure that the way the government feels about all of us, that there won't be some repercussions perhaps against all of us, and that's wrong. I should never have to feel that kind of apprehension about doing what I know is the constitutionally right thing in representing a client as I see fit.
We go through trials in life, and you know what? We know what James 1 tells us, says that blessed is the man who perseveres under trial. Blessed is the man. He says that he will receive the crown of life. What he's talking about is as we go through trials, and I think God's saying, look, you're in a tough situation right now. Are you going to keep walking with me, Richard Scrushy?
There's no doubt in my mind after the first trial that God allowed the verdict to be what it is, because Richard is innocent. And there were just so many facets to that first trial, multiple facets, things that we don't even understand happening in the natural realm and the spiritual realm. And I believe the victory was God's and Richard's.
Adversity carries us to places so that we may become stronger for